Hi, this is Garrett from Aquabot Medic. In this video, I'll show you how to rebuild impeller motors on most major brand pool cleaners. If you find this video helpful, please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more Aquabot repair videos. We are working on a Maytronics 55000026. Alright, so you can see that I've clocked the motor now. I've used these notches on the brass housing, which is the flat edge, and I've marked it so that I know where it lines up with this piece here. And then down here we went to the electrical connector and marked it right where the electrical connector is. It's going to be a number 2 screwdriver. You can take and actually we'll pull it apart here so you see. Pull your nose out. A lot of times this won't stick in there. Sometimes it will. And then you've got the communicator end. Whenever you blow out the winding, if you do use compressed air, don't blow into the winding at all. You always want to try and blow in through these creases and out the direction. Yeah, you definitely need a puller to do the bearings. That's why I do supply one. So I'm going to pull the small bearing first. So you hold your puller and your communicator at the same time. So that way you don't drop the communicator or the puller when they do come apart. Is we're going to set our ohm meter to ohms, all right? And you're only measuring about 1 ohm, so 0 to 10 ohms is fine. As you mark the communicator, you can see that I put a little piece of green on there. And then you're going to go around and actually ohm out the communicator and see, make sure you got good connections all the way through. So I'm going to go down and measure, and my lowest number is 0.8 on that one. So let's see what else we get. All right, got a 0.8, and you might, it takes a little bit. You might have to polish this before you do this, but as long as I keep getting a 0.8 or a 0.9 steady, there we go. And some of you are going to have a double lead. This is just what they call like a pair of tweezers. It makes it easier to handle. So as you see, I'm going 1 over each time that I'm measuring, and 0.8 is my average. So we're going around. If I couldn't get below 1 ohm on one of them, if it said 1.0 and stayed at 1.0 and I couldn't get it lower, then it would be out of specs. And if it said 0.5, then it would be out of specs. So you're only giving it a 0.2 difference of allowance. So you could have 0.9 and 0.7 and you can say that you're okay. But if you have a 0.7 and a 1.0, that's a little too far. And then if you, like I say, if it's 3 digits, then it's too far. So all the way around, and it's 0.8. So we know the winding on this one is good. Make sure you polish these up good. We will cut them on a lathe if they need to be usually. And but if you work on them with a drill chucked in here, you can polish this with some 400, all the bearings. And you don't want to beat on the outside races or the seals when you're installing them on the shaft. And remember, if this bearing's too loose and it wiggles down here, then you've got the wrong style bearing. Close our vise up to where it's only going to be touching the inside race, but we're not clamping down, so I can still pull up and down on the bearing. Then I will find a socket that the hole is just as big as the shaft itself, and then beat it down until it sounds solid. And you can see that we polished our shaft up. Whenever you're polishing the shafts, the best thing to do is chuck this first in a drill and polish your communicator first, and then you're going to turn around and chuck the other end in a drill and polish this end last to make sure you get all the burrs and anything off of it. It's not hard to get off. This one's a little harder. You can see I'm pinching this O-ring to get a little lip up underneath it. And I'm gonna remove it with a pick. You don't need to remove the snap ring. There went the barnacle washer. Okay, so we're gonna do the seal installation. I've come in here and I've cleaned all of this up, made it nice and smooth, got all of the corrosion out of it. If you're having a problem getting the seals to slide, just a little bit of bot lube or grease, and then it goes in this direction. So you got two seals, you're pushing your front seal. You don't really want to push on the center, but if you got this thing clean, you can run your finger around the edge of the side of the seal. You try to push it down equally. Once it's seated all the way down on that snap ring on the bottom, turn around and put you a more right here, because you want to retain some grease inside of there, but you don't want it completely full because it'll get hot. That part of the motor gets really hot and it will blow the seals out if you put too much grease in there. So it about halfway full at the most. It's seated, and now you put some more up here, protect the spring, but make sure you got a little bit on the outside of that lip. And you're looking at this one, this lip's dry, so I want to make sure that whenever I slide that shaft in there, that it's not going to go up against a dry seal. So a little bit of grease. You might have to squirt a little bit of corrosion inhibitor. So when you're working on the plate, the best thing to do is to get at least the connector pulled away so you can get it apart and work on it like that. Also look at your springs good. They should look, these look correct. They should be bent like that. So use the wick if that's all you got. You can just roll the solder out of the way if you take your time. It's usually easier to remove some of the solder from the back side first. And then once you've gotten wick nice and saturated, and then if you have to, you can thin the wire just a little bit, but you can see I'm pinching the wire on the bottom at the same time that I'm sliding it in. That way I don't have to try and fish the wire in there with the brush in place. And that's it. That one is soldered, and we've checked the caps. The caps are good on it. So this one's good to go back in. Play with your brushes a little bit. They should be smooth as glass. And make sure it's bent forward like that. That way it won't come out of that cage. Make sure that it is routed where it needs to be on the bottom and not going to contact anything. And that is your plate, and it's ready to go back into the motor. The caps are bent out towards the inductors. So the first thing after your plate and everything is good to go, take your wave washer and stick it in there and spread the brushes open with 2 fingers. Really, you can only use one, and then slide your bearing and brush in there, and then just line it up. You generally want to hold it straight up and down, but I'm just trying to show y'all. And then you should get that plunging spring action. You should be able to feel it. All right, so once you got your plate on, then you make sure you've got your plastic piece. All of the smaller series do have them, so make sure you know whether or not you had one or not, and put it back in there to line up your time point. Get some grease on your shaft. So I just cocked it sideways. Now, before tightening it up, check all your stuff and make sure everything's seated all the way around. Double check it, and it spins. You could kind of feel the magnetics of the motor. That's normal. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. If you need repair kits designed specifically for your pool robot, please visit my store on eBay to get all the parts you need to do the repair correctly the first time.